went crazy. You know, this is something. Yeah, definitely we live. We live. Just waiting for everybody to just try to join in. Please make sure that you share this live. Let everybody know that we are live. I'm just gonna try to share as well. Yeah, definitely. I'm okay. I'm doing well. I'm glad you guys are joining in. It's very important, eh? It is very important. Just want to check if the sound is out there. All right. I'm just gonna be try to mute this and see how many people are gonna join in. It's very important. I don't want to come here and start talking and there's nobody. Make sure that you share this live, right? Share this live with everybody. Let's just wait for everybody to actually come on board to be part of this live. It is very important. And everybody who's here, if you want to record this, I think it's actually wise as well to do that. Try to record this so that we can actually get the message out there, right? It is very, very important. It is very important. Yeah, I'm gonna. Don't worry about that. Hey, automatically I'll be able to send it through via YouTube, and it's just gonna be down there on the live section, right? I think many of you don't actually see. I have some live sessions there. I think I've only made one or two live, but moving forward now, I'm just gonna always make live, right? Try to have long hours because it actually takes time for me to upload it. You know, it actually takes time for me to upload it. So yeah. How do you share? Just click. There's a button here on your right hand side, right? The 3 point button. You click on it and then you select share. Then it's gonna be up to you whether you share it via Twitter account or via Telegram. It's gonna be up to you. But once you click the 3 point on your right hand side, then you're just gonna click on share, and you'll be able to share this live with everybody. Because the last one that had a notification, I don't know what happened. I was trying to share on Twitter, and the moment when I came back, when I tried to resume it, it actually didn't allow it anymore. I don't know what happened, right? It's really crazy. But yeah, I thought maybe they're messing up with my live, you know? So I'm just gonna give it like at least let's just give it a 6 minutes, right? 6 minutes and see if people are gonna actually get this notification. But if nobody actually comes and joins this live, it's okay. I'm just gonna go on without them, and I'll try to say the things that I wanted to say about the land. If whether or not we are getting the land, you know, I think it's very important for people to understand what is actually happening right now, you know, because damn, it's just gonna be very hectic, eh? But we're just gonna dive deep in it, right? We're gonna dive deep in it, okay? So what I want from everybody that's actually watching now, I want you to actually try to relax your energy, right, and be like try to be as calm as you can, right? Be intertwined within yourself. Have a glass of water. Please have a glass of water. Something to drink water. I'm always drinking water like crazy, right? I don't make a mistake. It's all about manifesting whatever that is that you're trying to manifest in your life. You bring it into this existence. You're still gonna be here for a very long time, right? So let's just give it a 5 minutes or so, and see how many people are joining in this live. All right, is the sound proper? You guys hearing me? All right, it doesn't matter with the people who haven't joined yet, but this is gonna be on this YouTube. Everybody who might have missed it will actually get this some insight. But when time goes on, definitely I know that there'll be more numbers of people that are gonna be able to join our lives. The more I do them, it is the more people will come on board, right? So we just want to invite the spirit, the energy of ether, right? The energy of the element of fire, element of water, the element of air, the element of earth, right? That whosoever that's watching this might have a greater understanding and a deeper understanding of the things that I'm going to talk about today, okay? You have to be really open-minded, right? You have to be really open-minded. So we want to have a positive spirit here, a positive energy and vibration. I don't want anybody that might be here to think or to have a negative side of an energy. It is important that your energy vibrates high when you're watching me, right? It's what I've always told people. If you feel as if like you're not actually receiving my energy well, like it's okay to exclude yourself, eh? Maybe you and I are not supposed to be connected right now, right? It happens that you and I are not supposed to be connected right now, or there's some things which you're trying to deal with and you want to try to overcome them. You get what I'm saying? So you can always wise to exclude yourself, right? But I want to greet everybody that's here. I want to say thank you very much for the people that are joining in this live. It is very, very good. You know, less is more is always like that. It goes without saying. So thank you very much for joining in. It is very important. Have the have the positive energy within you. Whatever that you're going through today, you're breaking it, right? It's not going to hold power over you. You're going to have power over it, okay? That's how much positive energy I'm giving you right now if you're watching this, right? Sending you the positive energy to receive that breakthrough you've been waiting for, right? Today is your day, okay? Is your day. We're not only going to talk about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding here, but I need to send the positive energy to you, right? And that's what I'm doing right now. So is the sound clear? Are guys here able to hear me well? Right. So the topic today is all about the land. Are we getting the land back? Not only in South Africa, but generally in the whole entire world. Are we going to get the land back? Let me hear what you guys have to say. Do you think we're going to get the land back? Do you think we are going to get the land back? What is your insight when it comes to this whole land thing? Because I've been watching since 2000, right? How people have been incorporating this thing of actually getting back the land. And it's not actually working the way it's supposed to be. I personally think that right now it's actually too late to get that access of the land, okay? Because there's a lot of dealings that has been happening under the carpet, right in front of people, right? It's really, really crazy, man. There are so many people that they are being threatened in the government system, right? To do things according how they would want them to actually be done. So people are afraid for their lives, you know? Somebody just said that there's a problem with the network. I think it's the load shedding. Where I'm at as well, there's no electricity, you know? So it's really terrible. That's why I always say that anybody that's part of the government system, it's not easy for them to actually do what you guys want them to do for. You might give them the votes and everything, but there's so many threats that go on board to control everybody. Not to say that I'm speaking for them. I'm not, right? I'm not. Because this thing is simple. If you're going to be a person who doesn't want to actually follow the rules when you have been given them, they're going to kill you. That happens with the same person who's going to come on board to try to bring some change. They're going to kill that person, right? And you become in a vulnerable state if you have a family, if you have children, if you have got a huge family to take good care of, then you're in a vulnerable state, man. They can actually control whosoever, right? If they can't get to you, they kill one of your family members, okay? Just so they can have control over you. And you're going to be afraid, man. You might not be afraid, but you're going to be afraid for your family members. Right? It's all about that attachment. Because if you're going to be like, listen, I don't care. Kill my family, I don't care. How will that make you look like in the family? You never cared for us. So, sometimes being part of the government or the politics, right? It's like shooting yourself on your foot, right? Because either way, you're a president, you're not they're going to control you. Even if they don't have a full control of the things that you need to do or the ideas you need to partake in, right? They will have that control over you. And if it's not entirely according to them, then they'll destroy you. We've been seeing how many leaders have we been seeing that are trying to fight for the land, they end up getting killed. And the ones who pretend as if they are there fighting for the land, what dealings are they in when they're not killed? You're going to be somebody who's actually fighting for the land, but you're not killed. What's so special about you? Not to say that they have to be killed. I'm just saying what's so special about that person. I'll tell you what's so special about them. Is the fact that that person went in bed with those people. He's going to act as if like, I'm coming with a land formation to actually get the land back to us. But they're not going to do it. It's going to be something which they'll use to make everybody to bring in those votes every single time. And everybody sees that, right? Everybody sees that all the time. Now, to me personally, it's a yes or no if whether or not you're going to get the land back. But I personally think that is too late. The only way that is possible for us to get the land back is having to unite. Overthrow the government in a way that we build something new. No government is going to come and actually represent us. We have the Council of Light with the people that have a specific spiritual essence that understand that in order for things to take on in a physical form, they have to be in a spiritual form. And we need to build that up like an empire, something that is so strong to the point that nothing that is outside of it that it comes with religion is going to actually come inside and try to bring more separation. Because the reason why we don't have a land today, or we are not in control of our land, is because we are separated. How many languages do we have for starters? Right? We have so many different languages. And we're supposed to speak one language. If we were to come together and choose one specific language to actually use one culture, do you think people are going to allow that? No. No one is going to actually say that I'm going to start speaking isiZulu. I'm going to start speaking Spade. It's going to be very hard. Right? That's another issue. If we want to really unite and speak one language, if it were for me, I'd literally make sure that nobody now has to utter words. Right? Nobody has to utter words. We have to have one language in a telepathic way. And make that an official language that we're going to use our mental state to have the conversations all the time. If it were for me, that's what I was going to do, definitely, right? I was going to do that. Let's have a telepathic communication. Then we'll speak one language. We'll have a greater understanding more than any other language. When we become united, there are high chances that we might get the land back. But if you're still waiting on the people that promise us that they'll give us the land back, we're wasting time. We are literally wasting time. Now let's look at the system. The system is rigged. We all know that. We're in a simulation, right? The system goes according to the person or to whosoever his story who's in control of the whole entire history. Okay? So when it comes to the system, the reason why we have weapons and all of that is because it's one in chain in command. It's like they designed the system this way. They make you fall hungry and teach you other ways for you to actually go out there and hustle in a negative way. This means that you need to kill your dear black brother or sister in order for you to actually get and accumulate money. Then they know that they're going to actually establish a security system that's going to actually go after those people. So this thing is actually generating even more money for them. Because let's just be honest. If it wasn't for the police, if police went there at all, right? Or if police didn't actually do their work, if there was no crime in this world, there wouldn't be police, right? So the system, when it actually built its hierarchy, it needed people like those who can actually do crime in order for the system to be able to have control when it comes to security. So those people can actually be paid. But if people were to stop to doing crime in this world, man, like police they're not actually needed in this world, right? They are not completely. You don't need police to come and protect you, even though they're not even actually doing that work. You won't need it, right? Because there's no crime. So crime brings in a lot of money. That's why people usually who do drugs and all of those things, abduction, they always get away with it, man. It's money for the system. That's how it operates. Right? Now, the real impact is this. How is it that people, even till to this day, people are having the very same mental state that they think in order for us to actually get the land, we have to go at it physically. Do we really need to actually fight for the land in a physical way? I mean, like, we can never take down the system that way. I'm just going to be honest with you. The way the system has been built, it has made people to have this ideology that in order for you to actually get something from the system or from the government, you have to react in a physical way. They want it like that. That's how they actually taught everybody. That in order for you to actually ask for something from the system, go in a physical way, terrorize everything, burn everything, right? And they want it like that. They want people to keep on acting in a physical way, because the physical way, although it might look so beautiful and so trustworthy to the point that you say that if we stand up together and fight for the land back, we're going to get it. That's the wrong way of actually fighting for the land. When you go physical, these people become so happy because acting in a physical way, it means that the minds of the people are ignorant. And let's actually keep them that way. The moment when there's a destruction, they are working their plans, right? They are working their plans in closed doors, how we can actually even more manipulate these people to the point that they can easily get anybody that's in the system to form this alliance with people that are really pissed off, that really want the land back, to be like, let us go and do some destruction. Maybe the government will actually listen to us this time. The moment when that happens, at the background, they are working on ideas how to continue, keep you this way. It's been done on purpose. So you can break, like, you can terrorize everything, man. You can burn the government down, all of that. You can actually try to burn the system down, but that will never work because they'll have a background. I mean, they have a backup. It won't even take time for them to actually replace everything that you've actually burned down. And that is the only way, like, that is an ignorant way of you having to actually look into how we can actually get the land back. The only way I think that we are able to have access to our land is becoming spiritual again. Not just this woke thing that is always trending, right? But to have a connectivity that leads us to spirituality. That means that we are not dealing with having to follow religion. We are not dealing in having to follow the system. Everything that the system promised to give us, we have to actually establish it on our own without the help of it. That way it will collapse. There won't be a need or a necessity for them to have control over us. But the moment that the fact that we're giving our energy to them, our votes and all of that, man, then they always have a way to manipulate our minds, to control and even try to destroy us even more further. Because I'm telling you, man, we can build a group right now, have people to fight physically. They'll have police, right? They'll have the soldiers to stop us. At the end of the day, there'll be more bloodshed. And we'll still lose. I'm telling you, we will literally lose. Because the way the system has been designed, nobody can actually go after the system in a physical way. Unless if you're Hulk, you've got all the big body, man, immortal, right? Maybe they'll actually start to bow down on you. But we can generate that power in a mental capacity state, being spiritual, by all means. Because, you know, when you start to, if South Africa were to be completely spiritual, they'll get to see that we don't need the system at all. We don't need the system to actually control us or the government to actually have power over us. It means that we'll lose this ideology that we need to vote in order for us to actually get something. But when we become completely spiritual, none of that matters. Right? None of that matters. We're going to live our own way. Because it's coming, man. Like, it's going to be very intense and hectic. They'll start to control who is able to go in the shops, who is able to actually buy something. In order for you to buy something, you need to have that chip. You need to be actually connected with the technology, the AI technology they're actually doing for you. And I know that already there are people waiting to actually partake on that system. Because many people out here in this world, they're NPCs, non-playable characters, right? They are non-playable characters. Exactly. You see, we need to activate our spiritual powers that's going to actually lead us in getting our land back. Because anybody might rise right now. Somebody that will be like Julius Malema. They will rise and promise you guys that we're going to give you the land back. They'll come with that ideology because everybody's hungry for that. You'll start to actually follow that person. And mind you, their mind is actually right. They have the idea that they want to get the land back, but they don't know what's happening in the system when the government. The moment when now they're close by, now they actually come in closing boundaries. They'll start to actually bring them into other ideas. Then that person is going to fall back, seeing all the money. The person is going to think for their own pocket. And everybody's just going to be played every single time. You get a political leader who has the power and the strength to make anything possible. The moment they go to London, when they come back, the ideas have changed. They're no longer the same. We don't know what in those meetings, what they're actually talking about. You don't know as well. But you've given your vote already. So if we were to stop giving out the vote out there, right, and start to establish our own council that is spiritual, having to deal with the fact that we will inherit our spiritual powers and strength, right, to build up a spiritual system that can actually attack anything that stands in our way of getting our land back. It could be a chance that could actually work out well. But on the other side, when I look at it, in order for us to actually get the land back, the world has to restart again. It means that there'll be so many people that will need to die. Right? When those people die, I know definitely that there'll be 1 billion, 8 million left in this planet who are actually going to have power to have control over the land. It's all about if whether or not you're chosen or you are part of that person or the part of that group who's going to actually establish a new form of living on this planet or not. Because if you don't even come to as close as that, then what will happen in this planet, it'll always be destroyed. AI system will live in this world, right? And people will be subject to living according to how the system has planned everything. That is why I'm saying that it will be a false situation whereby now we're going to have a different land, right? We're going to have a different land, maybe out of this storm, a new planetary system. You get what I'm saying? A new planetary system that is natural. Not having to deal with anything that is technology. Then there's a great chance that we might have our own land in a different side. in a different dome site. So it's not going to be easy. Because right now we're having a potential. Right now we're having a potential to have the access to our power. But how many people are part of that? How many people right now are spiritual? People are spiritual, but most of them are not actually into it. They just love reading the information about it. They just enjoy hearing gossip about it. But if we were to actually be in a spiritual council, we go out there and start to actually talk to everybody. That if we come together right now, speak one language, and have one authority spiritually, then we will have control. Right? We will have control. That goes without saying. But now we're having people that are still afraid to die. Because, you know, one thing about the Black community is this. You'll start something that is positive in a group and go out there now, start to accumulate a number of people. There'll always be that one person, right? There'll always be that one person who they'll actually buy to destroy the whole entire group or to kill that one leader. Because if everybody's spiritual, people will know that I don't need money or for people to come in with ideology of money to change my mentality and the perception of seeing the things that I'm seeing right now in this group that we haven't established. Because if you are completely spiritual, it's mind over matter. Anything that is physical, right, doesn't matter to you. You don't pay attention to it. You know that they'll come with this car and promise you this, that if you can actually do that, we're gonna give you a new Mercedes Benz. We're gonna give you a new house. If you're spiritual, you'll be like, no, I'm not about that. Right? I'm not about me having to incorporate physical things so that it can actually sustain my life. It means that if we're spiritual, if we're having to build a spiritual council, we need to be ready to die to make sure that this reform is able to actually help us all together. Right? If it means that we need to have people who are going to make a great research to look at the very most important land, whereby we know that definitely if we start something here, we won't be affected by any natural forms. You get what I'm saying? We know very well that there are people who caretake in protecting, right? In protecting those who want to invade and bring problems in terms of letting us know that if whether or not we have control or we own this land. We are the land already, man. Right? We are the land already. We just need to act upon it in a spiritual way, not in a physical way. Fighting the government or the system in the physical way is a losing game. Ask yourself, man, our forefathers have been doing this for a very long time. I look at everything our forefathers have, our ancestors have fought for. It has been spit on today. Right? Everything that our ancestors fought for has been spit on by those who are in control of the system or the government in this country. They're literally spitting on their graves. So we are that land. In order for people to realize the land which we are, is acknowledging the fact that we are spiritual. That is land activating as a first beginning. We create a spiritual council that is going to be way above the system or the government. We are the land operating now. Right? We have the access to that power. So we shouldn't look at the land in a physical perspective, but in a mental state before we can establish in a physical way. Perhaps then we can be able to get the land back. And it shouldn't be a one thing that we need to look up to somebody who's going to actually stand for us. No. Everybody must actually work right? Because the land belongs to us. You working on the very same land, you're saying that you want so bad to yourself. But if you can actually adopt this mental state of acknowledging that the land is in our own control, then we're going to have great ideas how we can actually hijack it. I'm telling you, we won't need to incorporate money to get the land back. When we know already in our mental state that the land is ours, we just need to do whatever that is to actually establish that. Right? We don't want to wait for any votes. That's not working anymore. Telling you, man, that the government is going to actually collapse physically right now. It has collapsed spiritually. No, people don't care about the government anymore. They don't. People don't care about the system anymore. It's still there physically, but it's going to collapse. The moment when it collapses, it needs us to hijack everything. I don't even trust our kings and chiefs. They're too scared to die. Right? They're too scared to die. And what are they teaching to their followers? What is it that they're teaching to their followers? That you need to be scared. The only time people come together when it comes to their kingdoms or chiefdoms is when they have to celebrate them to be in power. But when we need to come together right now, spiritually, nobody does that. Right? Nobody does that. So we really need to create a spiritual council of our own. We know that we are having so much contribution, right? To go out there live and collect many people in a spiritual essence, that we need to act together. We need to stand up all together. We can't be giving out votes out there and thinking that they're going to actually give us those or give us the access to the land. No, that's not going to happen, unfortunately, man. Everybody's too captured. Even the one which you believe in so much, they're captured. If the whole entire country, for example, if the whole entire country will actually stop voting, these people will tremble. They'll start to shake what's really happening. Right? They'll start to actually shake what is really going on. That's where it actually should begin. Right? Everybody stops voting and see what will happen to the government. But how many people are willing to do that? How many people are willing to do that? That's another thing. We might talk right now. You and I might talk. Listen, guys, we're not voting this year. But I'm telling you, man, 90% of the people in this group, or 90% of the people watching this right now, they'll go and vote. And you'll be left outside like this. What is really happening? It's easy for us to come up with these ideas, but if we're not indulging in the spiritual, if our mind and our perception is not entirely spiritual, then it becomes hard because people are too attached to the system, to everything that is material. First thing that you're going to think about, if I don't actually vote, I'm going to lose this and this and that. You see? You're right, what you're saying is true. People are scared. Yeah, people are scared of the circumstances of what will happen if they actually act as such. And we should actually be over that right now. We should be over that. We shouldn't be afraid of anything, man. We've got, let me tell you, as carbon beings, we have got nothing to lose. If you're spiritual, if your mind is too spiritual, you understand what I'm saying. We've got nothing to lose. Already, it's what I've been telling people. Already, people right now, they don't feel the need to eat anymore. I know that if it happens that we don't have access to food, many people will be able to survive without food, right? They will be able to survive without food. Because people are now becoming too spiritual. And that's what the system is afraid of. The government doesn't care, man, if you keep on destroying the streets, the corners, the government facility. They don't care about it. It's easy for them to replace it. What they don't want to see is when people say that I'm not going to actually stand for that grant money anymore. I don't care about it anymore. right? I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna live on my own, right? I'm just gonna live on my. I don't need that money anymore to sustain me. Now you're overcoming the whole system and it's packed. What it comes with it. But how many people are willing to do that, right? If people were to, because you know what, in order for everything to happen in our own way, people, we need to build up our own spiritual school. Stop interacting with this physical school they're actually teaching our children, right? We build our own spiritual school. You know what I'm saying? We do that. Having to incorporate ideas in a mental state, teaching our children how to meditate, teaching our children how to understand spirituality and the energy. If we were to have that one language, everybody in the whole South Africa, they don't have to go to school anymore because we don't need it anymore. We don't need whatsoever that will be promising us to actually do. Because nowadays you go to school, whatever that you even studied for, you're not actually doing it. I know people that have degrees, but they're working at ShopRite. I know people who have diplomas, PhDs, but they're working at Spar. Right? I know people who've got high qualification, man, but they're in the garden system right now. They're doing gardening. I myself, I did go to school. I did go to varsity, right? But there was a time where I was working and doing garden. And the people which I was working with, man, they had high qualifications, even better than myself. But I was working with them in the gardening, man, hustling. Right? As humble as I was, I didn't mind at all. Okay? I didn't. But I'm just making an example that either way, everybody's going to school, but they're not actually doing what they learned at school. Practically, people waste their time. All of that money that was generated for you to go to school, it was going to be able to actually reform it in something way better, you know, to have your own land, if it comes to that, buying your own land. Right? But none of that is happening. So I'm telling you, man, the only way to fight the system is not physically. The only way to teach the system a lesson is not physically. That way, we will never win. We have to do things in a spiritual level. We need to stop all the nonsense the government is making us to do and start to do things in our own way. All of these dreams that people have. I've got a dream to be a pilot. I've got a dream to be a chemical engineering. Those dreams are not yours, man. Those dreams have been implemented by the system. And every day, it is the reason why you don't have great ideas to actually be able to have an access in getting that land back. Because you just want to give what the system has been teaching you to do. You just want to give it back to them. Instead of everybody giving back to the community, we are giving back to the system by building it up and making it even more strong. I don't even want to say it this way. Do you know that a lot of you guys, who you thought that every time when you were giving your ideas at school, when the teachers looked at your ideas that they are dumb and stupid, those very same ideas you've been giving at school, writing those essays, they are using them to their own advantage. The database, they study each and every information. Everything that you've been doing at school, man, they study that and incorporate it in the system. I'm not making this up, man. They take, it doesn't matter where it is. It might be at school, university, at college. Your great and brilliant ideas, they generate them for themselves and for the system. So everybody everybody that's actually working in the system entirely, they're giving back the information to them. They teach you and manipulate you how to think. After that, they're able to consume that information to their own benefit. I personally think that nobody's dumb in this world, man. Just because the essay or the test that you were doing doesn't mean that you're stupid. It means that the government wants a particular person. It's like having those distinctions all the time. I always say to myself that people who have those distinctions, they're being consumed by the system. To some of you guys, your mind doesn't want to take in nonsense. Because every time you study whatever that you're studying, especially if you're not conscious about what you're studying, then it changes the perception of how you think. It changes your mind. And slowly but surely, every single day, that mindset is taking you away, far away of growing the idea of taking the land back. In a spiritual level, it shuts down all of those senses, those abilities, your spiritual powers. And before you know it, you have the system thinking for you. Everything that you do in the system is actually thinking for you, is doing it for you on your behalf. Right? So we need to build something of our own. We need to come up with our own council of light, the council of cosmic light. We're having people that are going to go out there and establish this whole land thing, that we can do it if we become too spiritual. Anything that happens in a physical way, before it actually becomes physical, it needs to be spiritual first. But I see people that since from 2000, people are still going at it to fight for the land in a physical way. I was really amazed this other day whereby I got to understand that in order for people to have a strike, that strike has to be registered. Imagine you literally begging these people to allow you to strike. When it is registered, they're able to see how many people are going to be part of this that strike, which places that strike has to actually partake in. Then already they've planned their own system. How many police or soldiers we're going to have ready should anything happen. Then we're going to get people arrested. It even gets better. If that strike is not registered, people are going to get arrested. But if it's registered, people don't get arrested. How does that work? Practically, we are begging these people that please let us strike. Give us that time, that period, to show us how good we are in striking, how good we are in burning everything down. The moment when the strike is over, they're coming to replace all of that. It's like a history repeating itself. I don't partake in the government system, man. I've never voted in my life. Somebody said to me, you're saying that you've never voted, but they're voting for you. No, they're not. I've never even registered. They only vote for you if you've registered before. Then you're telling yourself that you're no longer voting anymore. I've never registered. I've never voted. It's not working for me. My forefathers, my ancestors have been voting, man. It's not been working for them. So why should I partake in something that's not working for me? Right? It's not. You get what I'm saying? So if people were to stop voting and giving the system their energy, I'm telling you, man, what would be their reason to be there in the government system? There won't be a reason for them to be there anymore. Right? Because we can take good care of ourselves. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid that if people grow this mentality of being spiritual, they know that they can actually go to their own land and start to live their own life. They put us in this communities, the suburb areas for a reason. We are under surveillance. They're actually looking at us every move that we do. They're using these frequencies to keep on controlling our ideologies. You look at load shedding today. How many people are standing up for it? Nobody. People don't care anymore. Actually, people have come to actually be even comfortable in this load shedding. You have time now. They give you a schedule. When will the electricity come back? Okay, electricity is going to come back at 1 o'clock. All right, let me just relax. It's coming back now. then it comes back, then life goes on. Why? The frequencies that are surrounding us are destroying our mentality. You know? So they are afraid. One thing that the first thing that they're afraid that we can actually get the land back in a spiritual essence. They don't want people to be spiritual. They want people to be physical, to keep on fighting, because they know that way you can never win the system. The system is mastered, right? They give us religion. If people can stop doing all of those things, now they become so afraid. If we tell them that we don't need these houses anymore, let's just go in our own places and start to establish our own building. They're afraid of that. Because I mean, like, if you're having people that went to school, knowing very well how to build houses, how to build those buildings, right? If we were to actually have our own council, our own place, incorporate people as such to do the very same thing, then we don't need the system to actually do it for us. They don't want that. They want people to be in this box. Then it makes it much more easier for them to actually control us. Right? This way they're able to control us. So the only way which we're going to get the land back, man, is going to be through people. Like, many people are going to have to die first. Because that's what we are heading to right now. 8 million people will remain and will have control of that land. But other than that, it's gonna be so hard. Because people are not ready to leave the system in order for them to actually get the land back. We have to sacrifice. It's all about the sacrifices, man. We need to sacrifice for this, right? We need to sacrifice. We build our own council of spirituality. Gather everybody in one place. Start to speak one language. In spirituality, we are all equal, by the way. Spirituality, we are all equal. Nobody's going to come with their degrees here and tell us that, listen, I know this and this. We speak together. We have an understanding together. We show each other ideas together. We acknowledge each other together. We see each other. We don't see you based on your certificate that you have or which you've acquired. Even if it comes to that point, we deal with it right now. Right? Somebody's saying denouncing Christianity for starters. Yes, we have to. It needs to go. But that one, you see, that one is very easy. I made a poll on Twitter the last time. I think it was for 3 days. Some of you guys saw it, right? I was saying, let everybody vote. There were more people choosing spirituality over religion. That is easy. Right now, it's so easy for people to be spiritual because they see what's happening. I know that there's so many things that are happening that even your pastor can't even tell you. The only thing that they'll say is demonic, it's satanic, it's evil. That's the only language they have. If something is not better understood, the only way to actually label it is evil, to overthrow a person. The moment if that person feels that it's actually something evil, hell no, I don't want to actually deal with this thing. My pastor told me that it's nothing but satanic and evil. Right? Many things are happening in the Christian world right now. I know that a lot of them are listening to me right now. Huh? They're listening to me. And everything I'm telling them to do is actually working for them. Some are seeing that I'm asking my pastor about this. They don't know anything. But when I ask Ra about it, he knows everything about it. That's the thing, man. Many people think that when they're religious, they're spiritual. No, you're not spiritual. When you are religious, you're one with the system. You're physical. You know what I'm saying? You are physical, like you are part of the system. You can never be able to understand spirituality. Because that's the thing, spirituality is not supposed to be understood. Spirituality is a way of life. Your living experience is the essence of spirituality. Your way of living is that essence of spirituality. That's it. Now, let me actually dwell deep. Why is it that it's going to be hard for us to actually get the system? You look at the system, to get the land back, you look at the system, right? They came up with this thing that we build a system to control people, okay? Having to control people, we need to people at a vulnerable state, right? We need to ensure that there are poor people and the rich people. The rich people are going to have control over the poor people all the time, everywhere in the whole entire world. Now, we need to incorporate ideas of forming weapons. That's when our guns come in. The chain of command. We need to create this thing that now we build people that are poor who are going to go and hustle for money from the people that are rich, or the ones that are in the poor community. They'll have to kill each other. Okay? They'll have to kill each other. We are getting something out of it. I don't even want to speak about the insurances. Right? Now we've given people to be in a vulnerable state. Let us be in control of the health sector. We're going to give people food that will make them sick. Then we're going to send them in our own facilities of health. We accumulate money out of them. So all of those things, they need to be cut down. But who is willing to give up their own gun in this system right now? Or whatever weapon that they have to protect themselves? No one is willing to do that. No one. Who's willing to sacrifice to stop eating food or buying food from this ShopRite, your Spar? No one is willing to do that. I'm going to go hungry. All of these sacrifices need to be done in order for us to actually have a focus in getting our land back. Somebody's saying that we need to stay away from the GMO food. Yes, we do. We need to. But how many people know that the food that we're eating is GMO? It's not all of them. It's only a few people who know that. Right. How many people are willing? Exactly. Somebody said that we never had poor and rich. Exactly. Because the thing is, the reason why we have those things, we are being separated now through the system. That's how they can actually be able to control us or to have power over us. Because in the true essence, poverty does not exist at all. We are incorporating poverty because that's what we actually been taught at school, that there's something that's called poverty. Poverty does not exist. I actually admire people. I know this is going to sound bad, but I admire people who don't have so much to eat every day. Those people get to live the longest. And most of the time, such people are the reason why. The system always has power. Because the people who have nothing, they support everybody in a collective way. It doesn't matter if you've got that one penny, but millions of people who are going to spend a penny on somebody that's wealthy and rich keeps on making them more powerful and strong. They use people who think that they are poor to generate a lot of wealth in this world. Now imagine of all the people who have been subjected to actually think that they are poor, if we're to actually make up our own thing aside, support our own council of light, how much power can we have in this world, or in South Africa, or in that particular country? How many of us can we have that? right? So we need to understand that we can never get the land back physically. We can only be able to get land if we tend to be spiritual now. And when we become spiritual, there's no child's play or a game. Now, when we become spiritual, it means that we stop supporting all nonsense, including the government system. Nobody should rule over us. We have that power to rule ourselves together. But in order, because it's another thing, we can't say that we can actually do this thing on our own. But if people don't have a spiritual perception mind, then it's a huge problem. Steering from the GMO food is the biggest challenge for Black people right now. Yes, it is. Especially meat. Hey, it's not easy. Everybody just wants to consume food, and all of this food is making us dumb. It's making everybody dumb because your ideas are not being generated well. So I'm in this process of starting a spiritual council. But how many people are willing to actually support this? I've actually been thinking about this for a long time, and like we need to build our own spiritual council. We need to build our own school that is spiritual. We need to build our own church that is spiritual, right? Our own temple that is spiritual. We need to have our own source of food. What food we need to eat and consume. We need to grow our own natural food. That's what this Council of Light will actually come up with. We need to create this system of our own that is natural and organic. Right? How many people are willing to support that? Because if I can get actually numbers of people who are willing to be a part of this council, I'm telling you, man. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm really tired sitting here. I'm really tired sitting here speaking about these things all the time. I'm really, really tired. I see that we have great wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of giving to the people in this world. We have that. But every time we're sitting on the other side, talking and talking and talking, there's no action. The only action we want to do is keep on fighting and people losing their lives for no reason. And at the end of the day, everybody now goes back to their own place, to their own house. People now are burying their loved ones. We need to start doing an action about this, man. We need to build our own, anything that we do, it shouldn't be part of the system or the government. We do everything that is our own. If I had money, I was going to buy my own land or an island and incorporate this idea of people coming in that land. We're living a way of life spiritually. We grow in numbers. We keep on calling people to be a part of us as well. If it means that the system wants to actually live the way it lives, it wants to actually operate, they can operate without us. We leave all of these houses that we're living in today. We leave the system, they will leave the city. Build our own things, start afresh. Right? We start afresh. Somebody said that the spiritual people, there's a lot of spiritual interaction that's happening in this world and everything will collapse. Yes, it will. But we shouldn't wait for that, right? We shouldn't wait for it to collapse. Because I know that they've got other great ideas how they'll actually back up everything. We need to start to establish our own council right now in South Africa. And each and every culture needs to partake in it. All regions. We need to have the supporting structure and build that council, man. And I'm not just saying the Council of Light, man. I'm not saying this. I'm coming at you guys as a test to see if people are willing to do this. Because the Council of Light is on its way. Right? The Council of Light is on its way as we speak right now. The moment we establish it, it will make everything much more easier. It will make everything much more easier. We have everything of our own and control our own damn lives without anything that has to do with the system, man. We need to live peacefully. We need to be incorporating this land from the mental state and establish it in a physical way, whereby now we have built everything for ourselves. Every food that we consume is from the ground, fresh from the ground. And if we have to come up with this council, we need to stop supporting each and every little thing in this world. We need to stop supporting each and every. That is the only language these people will be destroyed by. Because I'm telling you, if you're going to have a huge number of people in a collective consciousness speaking one language, right? Then we're going to have one idea. If we're saying that we're not actually buying from this shop anymore, everybody will agree. Everybody will definitely agree. You mean to tell me that that shop is going to be there forever? It's going to actually stay? No, it won't. Definitely. They'll have to like move to a different place, right? Elsewhere, whereby they'll keep on, doing those things, suppressing people with the food. Do you know that African countries, man, half of the food that we are consuming today, African countries don't eat at all. Even the people who come from different countries, when they come to South Africa, they come with their own food. They even have their own shops. I'd actually see Nigerians having their own shops here in South Africa, where they're actually supporting their own type of food. They don't eat this nonsense, man. It's very rare you'll see a Nigerian or anybody that's outside of this country eating from this restaurant. It's very rare. Why? They're incorporating the land spiritually within their own mind. Yes, it is sad that they're coming in our own land. It is really sad, right? It is really sad that they can't actually have their own control where they come from. However, their mental state is far greater and different than the way we think in South Africa. If we were to incorporate that mind and stop supporting anything that comes with the government or the system, and we make our own, these people will fall in just a day, man. That's what they're afraid of. That's what they're afraid of. They're not afraid of us coming in together, going to fight or stand in the government building, right? And toy all time. They really appreciate that, man. They even clap hands. We still have control over these people for as long as they still have that mentality that when they toy, right, they'll be able to get things. We're still having control over them. They're still sleeping. But if we were to stop doing all of that and start to build our own thing and stop supporting them, you mean to tell me that they'll actually have that mentality again? They'll come and beg us the way we have been begging them to help us establish a better way of living. They'll come begging us. That's what they'll do. We need to change the script. We need to flip the table. Have our own council of light. Then perhaps, I'm not selling this idea. Listen, I'm not selling this idea. I'm not coming with the mentality of a politician or whatsoever, whosoever that might be thinking like that. This is going to be something altogether we have to incorporate in. We establish that council of light. We know that it is the headquarters of the brilliant ideas we transform to influence the rest of the world. It can only start here. One thing I've noticed about a particular country building something that brings change, when one country does that, the rest or other countries will start to do it as well. But as Africa as a whole, at some point, we really need to come together and be one. Right? Maybe we'll keep on having those borders, but we really need to come together and speak one language. But it won't be easy. We can't come one together if we're still having different beliefs. If we're still having the religion that actually has control over us. We need to all be spiritual. We need to be very far away from attachment and the system. Then there's a greater way of us getting the land back without actually being killed for it. So it's two ways. It's either we build up our own council of light, we speak one language, we make ideas how we can have that one language in this country. Or people die. 1 billion, 8 million people will be left behind to rebuild this new world again. That's what it takes. So I'm going to push this idea. I'm going to talk about the Council of Light and see people if whether or not they are willing to do and support this, right? I'm going to talk about it. And maybe I'll shook the world again. Definitely. We have to have our own things, eh? Our own school system, our own food, our own water, our own land, our own oceans. We need to own that and stop consuming all nonsense. Right? Stop consuming all nonsense, man. You get what I'm saying? Somebody just confirm what I'm saying, that the Nigerians, they buy from their own shops. Yeah, they do. How is it that we can't do it ourselves? We have our own shop that has the only natural food that is grown from the ground. How can't we not do the very same thing? We keep on supporting these people, but we still want them to actually have no power over us. Because to me, it doesn't make sense. We want the land back. We're fighting for the land back, but we're still supporting their own operation. We're still supporting their shops. We're still supporting their equipment. You forgot yesterday you were talking about you having your land back. They are on our land and doing whatever that is that they think they should actually do to us. It's really technical. Guys, if we make this thing, please make this research. Every food that you're buying from ShopRite, from Pep, or any other store, make a research. Look what's in, read the ingredients. Read what's inside of there. Read everything, man. I'm telling you, you will never buy the food the same anymore. Right? You will, your idea of buying food from these places won't be the same anymore. People lack this understanding of reading and making a research. Everything that you're buying is they're not hiding what they put inside of your food. It's there. It's in small letters. It's like when they give you a contract, they give you a contract because they know that you're not going to read those letters. You're just going to sign your soul. Then when you think that you're above it all, they remind you of this clause you never read. That everything that you have belongs to us right now. You can't do anything about it. And you did sign that contract. So those little words, don't neglect those words when you buy anything from these shops. Buy it. Go through it. Listen, go through it 10 times if you have to. Make a research. What does this word mean? What is this kind of a chemical that's inside of this food? I'm telling you, man, you won't buy the food the same anymore. Everything that you buy, you'll actually see that they're actually selling us nonsense. Right? They're selling us rubbish in our own land. And we still want to get the land back, but we're incorporating all the rubbish inside of your system, inside of our body, right? So I'm saying, let us build our own council of light. Build our own system, build our own schools, build our own church, right? Okay? If it means that we still want to interact with the technology, let us build our own technology that has a right frequency. Because honestly speaking, there's nothing really wrong about the technology, but the frequencies which it operates on, that's a problem. The frequency it operates from, it is a problem. You know that every time when you're having your phone like this, it keeps on messing up with your mental state, your mind. Like the reason why you have your phone like this on your hand, your chakras are connected with your hand, your fingertips, and the elements are here as well. The network interaction is affecting all of that operation inside of your system. Haven't you noticed usually sometimes when you're holding your phone for a longest of time, something happens in your hands? Haven't you noticed? Something happens in your hands when you're having that phone for a very long time. You start to feel the type of way. That's how you've been controlled with these frequencies. And they keep on controlling everybody with these frequencies, man. Right? So we need to articulate getting the land back in a spiritual way. Because if we can speak one language, right? We speak one language, have one understanding, it won't be easy for them to come to someone to sell us out. It won't be easy. Everything of us is establishing a one figure. We're protecting our women. We're protecting each other. Our frequency is so high to the point that we can make anything invincible. Right? We can make anything invincible. You see this talk that I'm having right now? I know that they're listening to me talking about this. They don't like it. They don't like such ideas. They don't like anything that will stop supporting the system, their operation. They don't want that. If people start to think outside of the box, right? Start to think on their own. They don't want that. They want people to look into the system and the government as the only way of living. Right? The only way of living. So we need to establish that in our own way. If we stop supporting these people, they'll have no choice but to look things in our own way, how we need to do things, not how they need us to do things for them. Because everybody in this world is the government. Why? Because you're giving your votes to them. Without your vote, because you know what? They threaten you, saying that if you do not vote or if you don't actually support the system, we're not going to actually be able to give you the things that you want. Already, they're not giving you the things that you need. How will they give you the things that you want when they can't even give you the things that you need? So they threaten you to think that without the system, you can never be well fed. But it's a lie. If you stop doing all of that, they'll be exposed. Who's going to fund their money? I mean, who's going to fund their cars, their houses, their beautiful lifestyle? Who's going to fund that if you stop giving them that power? It's either they live like us, have nothing at all. Because without the system, we are nothing. And that is positive. We don't need anything because we've got everything. The land has been given to us for free. Living on this land, it has always been for free for us. But how do we find ourselves today having the government to actually control us? You mean to tell me they'll kill all of us? They can never finish us all, man. If we start to say this, listen, I'm not going to beg the system that I need that part of the land. I'm going to operate right now, whether they like it or not. I'm taking it. It belongs to me. It belongs to us. Then we have people in place that are going to protect that land from the people who think that they can actually come there and do whatever that is that they want to do. We go there by force. We're not fighting anybody, right? We're not fighting anyone. We're going there to implement our own structures because it is our own land, right? It is ours. It belongs to us. No paper or form of limitation will have to stop us, right? Already we have the perception that the mind tells us that this is our land. It belongs to us. You shouldn't ask anybody in order for us to actually get it back. But we do it in a smartful way. We stop supporting all of this reforms they keep on actually bringing in us until they listen to how we want things to be done. So I'm advocating this. Let's build our own council of light. We build our own council of light, then we start to make things. Let's stop this thing of talking about it without actually having to establish anything. Then we can be able to overcome and destroy the system. It's deeper than just the government. We need to destroy the system, the whole of it. Not physically, spiritually, in our minds first. Then we'll have all the favor and all the power to make anything possible. These dreams that you have, that you want to be a pilot, want to be that, those are not your dreams, man. Your only dream that you have, or that is actually supposed to be truthful, is for you to be a happy soul living on this planet, having to go anywhere at any time without having to fear for your life. I mean, like, the only reason why robbers want to rob you all the time is because of the equipment that you have. If you'd actually stop to control or own those equipment, do you think anybody will come there to you and actually start to attack you? No, they won't. That is part of the whole operation of actually destroying the system, because that's how the system has been built. We separate people, rich and the poor. The rich will go after the ones that have it all. You live for the longest of time, man. But that's what the system doesn't want you to know about. They don't want you to actually start to live as such, to operate as such. They don't want that at all. They want you to keep on depending on them. Right? So it's very skeptical, man. Like, I'm very skeptical when it comes to this land thing, but it's not gonna be easy, man. If people are still going to fight for the land physically through the system and the government, listen, the government, forget about it, man. It won't actually give you the land. We need to stand up our own and build our own government, but this time the Council of the Cosmic Light, whereby we incorporate people that are spiritually elevated, who see things before it happens, who's able to bring the great teachings of building our own children, how to have strength and power in a spiritual essence, to have our own spiritual community. Now we're living like nature. We're incorporating things on our own. I'm telling you, even nature will stand on our side. It will protect us, give us strength and power. Because fighting for the land, we're not doing it for us only. We're doing it for the trees that have been cut, that they keep on cutting down every single day. We're doing it for the mother nature. Right? We're doing it for the mother nature. We're not doing it for ourselves only. As much as Mother Nature is actually helping us to establish a spiritual essence of understanding and growing in that light, she also needs our help. She needs our help. Right? She needs our help. In the communities where we live in today, you find out that there are not even trees around. Then how are you thinking? There are no trees anymore, man. You go everywhere in communities. They did that on paper. There are no trees. We are being controlled by frequencies. Those frequencies are controlling us. We become spiritually lazy. We're supposed to have green things around us all the time, man. And we think that we want the land back, but do we love it? I don't think that we love the land back enough. We love the land to that aspect. Because even the ideas of getting the land back, we still want to build anything that is toxic to the land. But if you have great ideas to understand what it means to bring the land back, then the land will actually support us. Not just by saying that we need the land back without having to not have great ideas how to bring back that nature. Everything's supposed to be green everywhere. Everything's supposed to be green. That is life. When we have our land back, we're incorporating nature first. Because that's where we're going to get brilliant ideas from to generate our inner health and connect with the frequency of nature, not the frequency of technology. Now we're incorporating the melanin structure, the neuromelanin structure around us. That's what we're doing. So it's deeper than just people saying that we want the land back. When we get the land back, we need to pay homage to the nature. We need to do things the way the nature would actually acknowledge us to do. We need to bring forth the importance of how is it that we're doing everything without incorporating the nature itself. The nature has to be there all the time. Then we'll have a great control of that land through the Council of Light. So I'm going to push this spiritual agenda and see how we can bring more people into this whole idea. Then we'll have people with a supporting structure that are actually going to accumulate or support to build this Council of Light. Then we build our own schools, our own hospitals, anything that is natural. Anything that is natural, we partake in it. Anything that is non-organic, then we're not. We're not going to do that. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Listen, I'm sick and tired of talking every single day, talking about how we can actually come together. We need to start doing it right now. And without the government. Without the government. I'm not fighting. I'm not starting a war with the government. No, I'm not doing that. The war has actually begun. And right now, the government is losing. But they don't want you to know about that. The government is losing. The war has started a long time ago. Right? My father will never come down here physically. Anu, he will never come down here physically. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to at all. Because we can do this ourselves. We're lacking to see the power and the strength we have within us. So we need to wake up and rise above it all in this whole entire system in the government. So I'm going to leave this live. I'm going to try to post it for the people who might have missed it, right? And this is just the beginning. When time goes on, I'm thinking that every Sunday I'm going to start doing live. Every Sunday I'm going to start to do lives. So let's try to actually build each other. It is very important, and send a positive energy and vibration out there. Don't forget it. Meditation, fasting, sun gazing, it is important. Love and cosmic light.